got a message today that made me kind of sad. One of the resellers in my group said that she was quitting reselling altogether. She wanted to know if I wanted to buy all of her inventory. And friends, I have to say, this is one of the years where I've seen or been told of people quitting reselling altogether or quitting specific platforms. And it gave me the idea to do this video. So let's talk about it. We're going to jump right into it. Number one, platform burnout. You guys know, someone commented, I don't remember your name, but they commented, instead of saying you guys, can you say something else? Because that's a good point. Like 98% of you are females. The YouTube shows me on the back end. It's like 97, 98% of you are females. So I need to stop saying you guys. I'm sorry, it just comes out naturally. But many of you know that these platforms, especially over the last couple of years, have been changing their policies like crazy. Some are worse offenders than others. I always say, you guys, I'm going to process inventory while I film these videos. These are some of the designer bags that I'm going to be sending to ThredUp. So I was just going to like wipe them down and clean them up while I talk to you. This is a huge one, vintage Gucci duffel, but maybe I'll show that stuff to you at the end of the video. So the person that DM'd me today said that she was quitting reselling altogether. Her main platform was Poshmark. She's been doing Poshmark since 2015, but she just started her eBay store this year. And she said with everything that Poshmark is doing, she feels like they are really trying to get you to use promoted closets. I'm filming this April 2024. So right now, it is not 2024, girl. April 2025. Right now, Poshmark just released a new policy change where they are not allowing you to you can relist items, but they don't want you to relist items that unless they've been listed for more than 60 days. And then if you are not new to Poshmark, you will know within the last couple of months, they rolled out this entirely new fee structure, and then they changed their minds and went back to their old 20%. So that's one. If you sell on other platforms, they have been doing this for years. I will say, I feel like eBay is probably the least worst offender at this. ThredUp is the worst. I know a lot of you sell on ThredUp. ThredUp, I even burned out and quit selling on ThredUp for about a good year, you guys. I was like, I can't, this is too much. They're changing their policies. I didn't know what to send them, what would make money, what wouldn't make money. They would release a whole new selling policy change like the next day. So they tell you on Monday and it goes into effect Tuesday. It was a mess, you guys. They haven't done that in a while, but my point is a lot of these platforms do that, and fees increase, fees decrease. They're restricting the type of listing you can do. They're really pushing you more towards using their promoted. Like eBay now has a promoted listing option that basically fluctuates. I don't know anyone that uses that one. I'm not explaining it properly, but basically it changes. You can set a maximum, but it will depend on the traffic or so. I've never used it, so I'm completely ignorant to it because I refuse to use it. I just promote my listings at 2%. That way I'm playing the game eBay wants me to play. They want me to promote, fine. And not all of my listings sell promoted. This person that's quitting reselling altogether was telling me that what really pushed her to do it was this new delisting, this relisting cap that they're putting on people, that you will be penalized if you relist for things under 60 days. And I guess she is very upset about that because she relists items every 7 days. And she's quitting. Like, you couldn't talk her out of it or anything. And I want to say this has been just these last 4 months in 2025. I have had so many people telling me they're quitting reselling. It's not even speculation. They're just quitting. they're tired of the platforms. And I've always told you guys this, and you guys probably already realize this. We don't control these platforms. We are at their mercy. So they can do whatever they want. And if we want to keep selling there, we just kind of have to pivot and go with the flow. So that's the biggest thing. And so a lot of people, and she was telling me, and I'm hearing this from a lot of people, is that they feel like they have to work harder for less. She doesn't want to do live selling, and she feels like that's what Poshmark is really pushing, and so she's quitting. And that is totally understandable, friends. And I don't just want this video to be like a Debbie Downer negative video. Speaking of a Debbie Downer video, thank you so much to all of you that commented on that video. What did I call it? She thought I was stealing or something. I really wasn't going to even post that video, but the amount of times I experienced that, you guys, especially while I'm traveling, and I never talk about it, but yeah, I'm glad I did, because you guys were really nice. But you all did make a good point. Like 10 of you commented and said, I wouldn't have spent my money there if they were doing that. And I do agree with you. I was going to walk out of the store. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll link the video down below. I was going to leave, you guys. I was. But then when I started hearing everyone say, oh, there's a 75% off section, I was like, you know what? I'm not letting this woman run me out of some great inventory. But joke's on me, because I didn't even get all the stuff I wanted. Because they didn't even keep track of my stuff. If you know what I'm talking about, I'll link it down below. But thank you to all of you that were so kind. Yeah, I still have to respond to some of those comments on those videos. And I need to stop trashing Utah. First of all, do not listen to me when I talk about Utah, you guys. I've only been to Salt Lake City and Provo. I cannot judge the whole state based on my 5 days in Salt Lake City and Provo. So I'm so because there were people that are like, I'm from Utah and I'm nice, and I swear we're not all like that. I'm sorry. I'm gonna stop talking about that. I can't be putting down a whole state because of my 5 days there. So that reminds me, I need to reply to some comments. So I don't want this video to be a downer. So I want to, like, each reason that I talk about why people are telling me they're quitting, I want to tell you why I'm not quitting, what I'm doing to pivot. As far as Poshmark goes, especially with these new, like, what are they calling it? Excessive listing policy. I think they're really just trying to push people to do promoted closets. I didn't even think about that. I think that's the push. So instead of having the capability of pushing your listings to be more top of mind for buyers and in the just in section, just pay us to do that, and that'll bring you more sales. I don't know why I didn't think of that. I'm not doing promoted closet, you guys. I did it for a month, and I think it resulted in like 2 sales. It was not worth it for me. But what I am doing to deal with this is and I've always told you guys this, I'm listing on more platforms. So I was talking to some of my group members, and they were saying how they are listing on Vestiaire. Am I pronouncing that right? I think so. And I already use Vendu, so Vendu allows you to cross post there, and I don't know why I don't do that, because I have a lot of, you know, higher end, not a lot, but I have some luxury inventory. So I'm going to add that to my repertoire, and I'm just going to keep doing what I've been doing while pivoting. Okay, so I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing by consistently listing, consistently sourcing inventory, but trying to keep my cost of goods as low as possible while diversifying all the ways I resell. If you are new here, I do live selling occasionally. I've had like 3 live sales this whole year. Live selling, I sell on Poshmark, eBay, ThreadUp, The Real, and I'm gonna add Vestiaire to my selling platforms. So that's what I am doing. Number 2, inventory costs are out of control. The thrift stores where I live are astronomical. You can still get good deals. That's why I still source so much at the Goodwill outlet, where I pay $2.79 a pound. No, it went up. It's $3.19 a pound. I try to source there as much as I can. I buy Goodwill outlet pallets where they're like $60, $100. It's a lot of work, but that's how I can keep my cost of goods low. And I sprinkle in other sourcing avenues. So I source all the ways, you guys. I source online arbitrage, retail arbitrage. I source from my real estate clients, my coworkers. These 3 Gucci bags are from coworkers, you guys. I source all of the ways. So that is how I'm like trying to combat inventory costs, but I understand for a lot of people that's not even an option. Like you just don't have the access to it. And I feel like competition is just so much tougher because I feel like since 2020 we had such a huge influx in resellers, and maybe now it's going to balance out because there are just so many people quitting, but the competition to get inventory now is crazy. Even certain thrift stores have their online websites where they auction off their own stuff. And they don't even put it in the store. It goes directly from donation to their online websites. So it's harder. It's so much harder, you guys, than it was 5 years ago. It's way harder than it was 10 years ago. If you're new around here, I've been doing this part-time for 15 years, and it was so easy to get inventory then. My first palette I bought was in 2019, and I documented, oh my gosh, I just ripped my hair with this ring. I documented the whole process on this channel. I will link those videos down below. I'm pretty sure I unboxed the whole palette. It was my first ever palette. I did this for about 8 or 9 years, you guys, before I ever purchased any liquidation. All thrifted inventory, mostly thrifted, some retail arbitrage. And that palette was $4,400. Do you know to get a Revolve palette now, like, I don't see them for under $10,000 unless they're complete trash. Like, all customer returns, all damaged. My palette, everything was new. Brand new inventory, overstock inventory from Revolve. To get that now can run you like $20,000. To get something from the thrift store here in Los Angeles, I just saw a dress for $50. That's not the norm. But my thrift stores mark things way up. They know the brands, they know the designers. Sometimes you get lucky and they miss things, but it's just so much harder and more competitive to get inventory. So my advice to you, for those of you that are like, yeah, that's the pain I'm feeling now, again, is diversifying. Maybe you can find a wholesaler to source for you and send you things for $6, $7, maybe even $10 a pop. Maybe you can dabble your toes into like liquidation boxes so you're not spending thousands on pallets, but you can get a little box and try that out and get it delivered to your home. Maybe you start going to like, what are those stores called? Where they like sell the Amazon returns and stuff? Bin stores, not like clothing bins, but you know, the bin stores where they have all these like Amazon returns, or sometimes they have new stuff from like Macy's and you can source there on, you know, they have discount days. Like we have one here where it's like when they put out the new quality stuff, it's $10 a day, $5 a day, and then $1 days when they don't put out anything new. A lot of my friends source their hard goods that way. Maybe you change the category you mostly sell in. Like one of my friends was mostly a clothing seller. She was like, it's too hard to find inventory. It's getting more expensive. She's just shifting to hard goods and she's killing it, you guys. And she sells all types of hard goods, like vintage home goods that she finds at swap meets. She's selling new stuff that she finds at the thrift store. So I think it's just about diversifying and opening your mind to finding inventory in different ways to keep your cost of goods low. And this one might piss some people off, but I think social media has lied to a lot of, I see this in a lot of newer resellers that quit, is that they think it's an instant cash grab. Like it's an instant gratification culture we live in. We all know that. But reselling is a lot of work, and to do it and to be profitable at it and make good money doing it, it does require work. You may not be profitable for a while, maybe not even months. You guys know, some of you may not know, when I first started reselling, I wasn't making any money. I had no idea about checking comps. I was just buying stuff I thought was cute, and I kept buying and nothing was selling, so it wasn't even a reseller, I was just a buyer. I was not selling anything, you guys. And it was horrible. And then I quit for a year. I quit because I was like, this is horrible. Like, I'm not making any money. I'm just buying a bunch of stuff. I'm having to borrow money from family and friends to keep buying stuff that's not even selling. So a lot of people, that's the state they're in. And like 3 people this year have told me, I thought that this was going to be an easy way to make money. It's not. Like, I work full time, I can't go to the thrift stores that often. Or people that quit their jobs to do reselling full time are like, this is so much hard work going to the Goodwill outlet, and my Goodwill outlet prices are rising, or they're pulling stuff and just selling it themselves. Like, it's way harder than I thought, and I'm not making enough to survive. And that is the harsh reality of reselling. It's not a quick cash grab, and you have to constantly feed the reselling business with your hard work to reap the rewards. You do. Like that video I posted, you guys, when I talked about taking a week off from listing, I was still reselling. I was still selling to thrift stores and consignment stores. I had still sent boxes to ThredUp and the RealReal a month, 2 months before that, so that I was still getting income from those consignment sales. I was selling to other resellers in my wholesale and my reselling/wholesaling group. So I was still reselling, but because I have those different pockets that I'm able to resell and do it different ways, I was able to keep the cash flow coming in. You guys know I always tell you, I don't care if I'm 80, I'll probably be reselling in some form. So I'm really playing the long game. And one thing that I learned for that 1 month, I did reselling full time for 1 month. I did a video on it. It was insane. I was not only doing live selling full time, like 5 or 6 days a week, I was also listing like 20 to 40 items every single day. I did that for 1 month, and I completely burned out. I was also 6 months pregnant. I learned that I have to protect my mental health. I am, most of you know, very much go, type A. I wake up at 4 a.m. I go to bed at midnight a lot of times. I'm very go. But if I don't protect my mental health and take it easy occasionally, even I will burn out. So what ended up happening is, after that 1 month, I was like, this is too much. I'm going to keep listing. I am pregnant. I need to rest. Listing is easy for me. I've been doing it a long time. I'm not going live. And I did not go live, you guys, again for almost 9 months. And I love live selling. I know some of you can't stand it, but personally, this girl likes to talk, if you couldn't tell from this long video. I love live selling, but I had burned out and I did not take care of myself. I was just like, go. And I was fine doing it until I wasn't. So I share that to say, protect your mental health. If you're feeling burnout, take a break. If you're feeling stressed, if you're feeling like quitting, I say maybe pivot, maybe change some things about your reselling business, maybe switch to consignment for a little bit. Maybe you try my method of selling directly to thrift stores. I will leave a link to that video down below. Maybe you decide, you know what, I like shopping, but I don't like listing, I don't like storing the inventory. Maybe you become a wholesaler that just shops and sends inventory to other resellers that need it. Like, there's so many ways that you can do this. So I always recommend when the girl who DM'd me today said she was gonna quit, I said, why don't you try to pivot first? And I literally gave her a list of 15 different ways to resell. I said, which one of these do you think speaks to you, like that you would be willing to try before you quit? And she said, you know what, I wouldn't mind considering wholesaling. And I was very honest with her. I was like, just know, wholesaling is a volume game, because you're going to be selling to other resellers. They want a deal. They're not going to pay you what you would get if you listed the item, because they want to list the item, right? So you, in order to make enough money, you're going to have to be moving like thousands of pieces of clothing every week. So then we talked about maybe selling to ThredUp and the RealReal. So she's going to try that because she hasn't tried that. So whenever people say they're going to quit, I just send a list of like, do you think you could pivot to one of these? And you guys know, it's not for everyone. I always say that. Everything is not for everyone, and that is okay. Somebody, at least, you guys, once or twice a week will be like, do you think I should start social media to help my reselling business? And I'm like, I'm very blunt, because this is a lot of work. And you make almost no money unless you have some like viral video that happens to you really early on. Most of us make no money doing this for years, you guys. So you genuinely have to love it. And I don't even know how effective it would be at helping you get sales from viewers, because in the beginning, like I said, unless you have some viral video, you're not getting that many views. So, I mean, I consider myself a smaller channel, and I don't think I get that many sales from you guys. I could be wrong. People may be buying from me and they just don't say, hey, I watch your YouTube. But I can tell you, it's like maybe once every 2 months, someone will leave a message saying, hey, I follow you from YouTube. It's not that often. So I don't think I'm getting a ton of sales from YouTube, even at this point. So imagine if you're just starting out, you know? So I say all that to say, everything is not for everyone. Maybe listing is not for you. Try selling consignment. Try sending things via wholesale. And if it's not for you, it's not for you. Reselling is not for everyone, but I usually say to the people that have at least been doing it for a year and want to quit, then can you pivot and try something else? Now, for those people, there have been people this year that are just like, I cannot afford to make my mortgage next month. I'm like, yeah, you should definitely get a job for sure. But for those people that are just like, it's not working out and I feel like it's too hard, I do like it, I wish I could keep going, but this, that, then those are the people I'll send that list to. Let me know in the comments, friends, if you're comfortable sharing. Have you been feeling the pressure lately? How are we feeling about reselling with everything that is happening?